Well, you got guys fighting between 130, 135, and 140. Um, they stack, around that area. So, I mean, as of right now, um, well, probably
Skills that pay the bills.
well, the two guys, well, the biggest puncher I feel at the 135 will probably be Gervonta Tank Davis. But the most skillful fighter at 135 will be hands down Shakur Stevens.
In an unexpected action, Floyd Mayweather recently dismantled the bout between Vernon Davis and Shakur Stevenson. After Haney's victory over fellow southpaw Frank, which included a promotion to a higher weight class, Davis was proclaimed WBA champion. Martin Stevenson easily defeated Edwin De Los Santos to claim the vacant WBC belt. After that, he managed to hold off Artem Haraktunen, winning both bouts to the end but coming under fire for their lack of
Tank Davis. Tank Davis is the man. Okay. Right now, he's in his prime. He can do everything. Forget about the fact that he's the hardest puncher and all of that, but he's also terrific counterpuncher, sets traps, can use his legs when he has to. He's patient when he needs to be patient, deliberate, cerebral, as both champions talked about. Right now, he's
in the face of skeptics. Shakur declared that when he met strong opponents, his actual abilities will be revealed. After the IBF, Tank is searching for a new mate. The matter was made much simpler when the champion, Vasyl Lomachenko, withdrew from the initial negotiations. After spending a significant amount of time working with the fearsome Top Rank, Stevenson is now in a new phase of free agency. Although he anticipated this fight early this year, Top Rank May CEO Bob...
He's probably the only guy I can think of beating Shakur Stevenson right now, because Shakur Stevenson is that difficult because of his style, because of his abilities, because of his eyes, because of his, his legs, that his hand speed, the way that he controls range. Tank Davis is the only guy that I can see that could possibly decipher that style and beat Shakur Stevenson. That's how good he is.
Arum will no longer be actively managing the events. Fans will soon be able to see altercations between the aforementioned players in unity, and the 135 scene is as intense as ever. And who would win if the business aspect was taken care of? Since Tank Davis is a highly skilled fighter and a big attraction, we would like to match Lopez and Stevenson Lomachenko against Davis to see how they do. Aram also proposed Davis. I believe that our three guys would win the fight against Davis. I really feel that's the reason they fight right again, and we're open to any of it. Tank was backed by well-known trainer and analyst Teddy.
Shakur is the best. To me, he's better than Tank, he's better than Devin, he's better than Ryan. Shakur, he's better than Teofimo. Shakur is my number one when it comes to those weight classes. Yeah. Shakur to me is the best. He is me.
So you think, because the big one, they want, Shakur and Tank. That's the one everybody talking about. That's the one they want to see. Tank
is you mad at me, boy.
Yeah.
Atlas. Davis stated in a Pro Box TV program that Atlas, he claims that Davis is a fantastic illustration of a man who can do anything. In addition to being the better puncher, he said that Davis is a skilled counterpuncher who can set traps and use his legs when necessary. Atlas says that when it comes to thoughtfulness, analysis, and patience, all of which make Davis the real deal right now. Thank you, Davis. Davis is absolutely great right now. He's at the peak of his abilities and can achieve anything.
He's probably the only guy I can think of beating Shakur Stevenson right now, because Shakur Stevenson is that difficult because of his style, because of his abilities, because of his eyes, because of his, his legs, that his hand speed, the way that he controls range. Tank Davis is the only guy that I can see that could possibly decipher that style and beat Shakur Stevenson. That's how good he is.
Aside from being the strongest puncher ever, he's also an excellent counterpuncher who uses his legs and applies straps when necessary. As stated by Atlas, the Tank, perhaps the only opponent Shakur Stevenson could defeat in his imagination at this moment is Davis. It's hard to defeat Stevenson because of his style, eyes, legs, hand agility, and range control. According to Atlas, the Tank, the fact that he is restricted to believing that Davis is the only person who could comprehend Shakur Stevenson highlights the idea that Davis is the man and the only person.
Get the guys who Shakur fought, like, look at their records, but also look at, like, they styles, how they box. Like, I remember Shakur was fighting against this strong-ass African dude.
Oh, Nakatila.
Man, that dude was strong. I was there. I'm like, man, this Shakur was on his shit.
Yeah.
Countering him, knocking him down. But that dude was just thoroughbred, just strong, though. You can look at him, like, look at he got big old hands, big old arms, forearms. And Shakur went there and did what he did to him. So it's like, Tank cannot say he's the best if he's talking about how he knocked out Ryan and knocked out Rosie. Like, who the fuck is a Rosie and who the fuck is a Ryan? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, those guys will never get in the ring with Shakur. And I say that respectfully, like, Rosie is not a great...
I can now think of who could defeat Shakur Stevenson. What makes Shakur Stevenson so strong are his style, talents, eyes, legs, hand quickness, and capacity to extend the container. Given how skilled and how different his skill sets and techniques are from Jake Stevenson's, I find it impossible to imagine any player being able to understand Davis' style and defeat him. The two champions in the same category will square off to see if Stevenson's stronger defense and deft mobility can overcome Davis's relentless power and chase over the course of 12 rounds. In an interview with Fight Hype X, WBO Super Bantamweight World Champion Angelo Leo predicted Tank.
I'm gonna give credit where it's due. Tank is very skilled. Tank is very strong. But Shakur is getting hit. He's getting hit 5% with shots. Like, he's getting whatever shots you throwing, only 5% of them landing.
Yeah.
And people say, it only take one. You're right. It only take one. But when you only getting hit 5%, 6%. I'm just rocking with Shakur for that fight. And Shakur gonna be smart. Shakur's strong too.
Davis will win. Leo shared his evaluation of Tank's skill level with both opponents by skillfully drawing on his own sparring experiences. Although many people occasionally mistake Tank for a big or powerful puncher, he is actually highly technical and knows when to pick his shots. According to him, Tank is a quick, cunning, and astute retaliator. Good news for supporters. With the collapse of talks with IFBF champion Vasyl Lomachenko, these forecasts may come true shortly. Shakur's WBC and Davis's WBA belts are currently vacant. Both fighters need to satisfy their contractual commitments for the belts to become unlocked. Ellis Kenny, the only thing that can stand in Tank's path, according to his co-trainer, is fear. In addition, she pointed out...
Look, I'm not gonna ever dismiss a fighter. Like, I think that Tank got some great skills and got some hard-ass punches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's so explosive, but so is Shakur. Yeah. Shakur has, to me, faced harder challenges than...
But Stevenson's recent promotion and his unrestricted freedom of movement were further obstacles that may be overcome with mutual understanding. Stevenson's superior defense could match up well against a Tank. The volatile nature of Davis, it has always been debatable who is the greatest and who would prevail in the heavyweight divisions. The newly crowned heavyweight champion, Clarissa Shields, stated in an interview with Cigar Talk that she thinks Tupac Shakur is the best and superior to Tank. She thought Stevenson was the greatest. According to reports, Haney Shakur is Ryan Garcia and Timo Lopez's favorite in those weight classes, because she feels that she looks like him. They claim that Shakur is the greatest of all time, surpassing the likes of Devin, Tank, Timo Lopez, and Ryan Shakur. Shakur is my first choice because, as you could expect, he is the best version of myself in that weight classes. This is important to them because, as you can see, Tank and Shakur are the ones who everyone is talking about, and they want Tank to get upset with me. Yes, it did lead to me being the world champion and winning 4 weight classes. went on to suggest that Stevenson would defeat Tank and that he needed to face more formidable opponents in order to develop into a lightweight. Claressa went on to talk about Tank's explosiveness and how she would never rule out a fighter, even though she acknowledged Tank's exceptional skills and potent strikes. She does think that Shakur has overcome more difficult obstacles than Tank though. Claire went on to remark that, given the opponents Shakur has faced, their records, and their tanks, Styles' Tank cannot be regarded as the greatest only because he stopped Ryan and Raleigh. She questioned the validity of those opponents' claims that they would never confront Tupac Shakur in the ring, pointing out that while assessing the guys Shakur faced, you should look at both their records and Styles' style of fighting. For example, I remember Shakur facing off against a strong African man named Naka Naka. As I stood there, it struck me, man, this Shakur was on his way countering him, knocking him down. You could see by looking at his large hands, large arms and forearms that guy was really strong. Since Shakur got there and did what he did to him, Tank was unable to claim to be the best when he talked about how he knocked out Ryan and questioned who the hell is a Ryan and who the heck is a Roy. I apologize, but those dudes will never step inside the ring with Tupac Shakur. Respectfully, Tank isn't a very skilled boxer. She acknowledged that there was a chance for a knockout, but she also pointed out that things would be different if Tank was only taking 5 or 6 strikes per battle. She supported Shakur all through the fight, complimenting him on his power, agility, and intelligence, as well as the fact that he goes above and beyond when he needs to prove anything. I'm just stating that even if Tank is incredibly strong and skilled, he only receives 5% of the throws you make. When credit is due, I will provide it. Yes, landing, and to those who say, oh no, it only takes one, you're correct, but when you'll only hit 5 or 6% of the time. I'm pretty delighted about Shakur's combat and his continuing cunning. Shakur was aggressive and brisk in what was effectively a sports interview. Timothy Bradley credited Stevenson's exceptional boxing prowess as a major reason for his prediction that Stevenson might be the fighter who ends Davis' winning run. Bradley spoke with assurance. Bradley believes that Stevenson is the favorite because of Davis's 14-month layoff before the bout against Frank Martin. But Shakur is independent and doesn't need my help since, rank or not, he knows what to do. Because Stevenson is aware of the conflict inside of him, he claimed, that makes him unique. If you liked this video, be sure to check out some of the others that are displayed.